Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very nervous. I've never done this before in my life, so I'm shaking up here, but I'm going to go for it. My name is Heather, and I'm a mum with lots of children. Okay, 8, but by today's standards, it may as well be a million. I am here to give a small speech on what it is like to have a youngster who is not yet on dialysis, yet suffers with chronic kidney disease. On January the 5th, 2007 at 7:30 a.m., my waters broke with baby number 6. I arrived at Grimsby Hospital just after 8:30 that same morning and was still there on a Sunday. There was very little sign of my baby showing any appearance. It was only after the staff changeover on the afternoon that I finally plucked up the courage to question my level of care. Despite being on a drip, to being on a labour, I still couldn't feel my contractions. Something was seriously wrong. Finally, after spending 30 or so minutes going through my notes from previous pregnancies with midwife, she agreed to do an examination. As she pulled her hand away, it was covered in blood. The monitor was slowing down. My baby was dying inside of me. Sorry, that is the last thing I clearly recall. As my consciousness was slipping away, I was asked to sign a piece of paper, but had no idea what that was. At around 10 p.m, I remember coming round from the general anaesthetic and asking where my baby was. The midwife informed me Lily was extremely poorly and in special care. At around 10 p.m, I do not remember anything much about the Monday, as I was still under the effects of the general anaesthetic, so I was in no fit state to see my baby until the Tuesday. That was when a neonatal nurse wheeled me up to see Lily Rose. I was told to prepare myself for the worst and that holding my baby was not going to be possible. However, I would be able to stroke her head and her hands. She went on to explain to me that Lily had been resuscitated twice and as such had lost her kidney function. On the advice of the nurse, Lily was baptised by Reverend John Cannon Ellis on the 11th of January, and later that day we were transferred to Nottingham City Hospital, not knowing at that point if I was going to be bringing my baby home or saying my final goodbyes. Never had I felt so alone or scared. Lily Rose's chronic kidney disease was caused by acute renal injury in a newborn period, secondary to antepartum hemorrhage. In simple terms, a placenta abruption occurred during my 62-hour labour. It hasn't been easy for any of us, least of all her siblings. We try our best to treat our children all the same, as equals, but Lily has to do things differently. She is on 3 different medications to assist with her kidney function. Citron, also known as sodium ferrate, this is for anemia or lack of iron. Alpha-colcidol or alpha-1 drops, and more recently, enalapril. This has been prescribed because of the high levels of protein in Lily's system. There is a diet. This is always fun and games, as most of us understand. We can never be sure what is coming next. As a baby, she was placed on Infantrini special formula. This was a high-calorie baby milk. In 2012, Lily was put on a restricted diet. This was due to the high levels of phosphates and potassium in her body. The diet consisted of no dairy products, butter, cheese, milk, yogurts, chocolates. All the things that she loved, she could no longer have. Every meal was cooked carefully, prepared. This was difficult, especially having 5 other healthy children to cater for. In just under 5 months, Lily lost lots of weight. At 5 years old, she weighed a mere 11.5 kilograms. It was at this point we saw Dr. Finley from Leeds. He was astonished by our little girl's weight loss and told us to stop the restricted diet with immediate effect, not to worry too much about her kidney function for the time being. That's not easy at the best of times. Last year, Lily was placed on a high-calorie food intake. The main reasons behind this was to build up her weight. It has taken a while, but slowly things are improving. Lily saw her dietitian in Grimsby last week and now weighs 17 kilograms. Yay! Just 2 stone 10 for the old people in here. Not the old people, but the older generation, sorry. Still small, but she makes up for it with her cheekiness, enthusiasm, and a desire to please. Lily grasped life with both hands. She is happy, bright, caring, loving, and sensitive. She has lots of friends both at school and at Brownies. Her family and friends adore her. Lily plays beautifully with her siblings most of the time. and is always helping her younger sister with homework and listening to her read. Lily is also known to do her big sister's homework. She is in year 10 at senior school. Of course, Lily loves telling the story to anyone who will listen. Big-headed? No, just a very bright little girl. Lily is able to talk openly about CKD. She knows about dialysis, as my husband and I have shown her pictures and answered all of her questions as honestly and in an age-appropriate manner as wherever possible. Lily also knows that dialysis is something we are going to do our best to avoid. She has already told her teacher that Mummy or Daddy are hoping to give her a kidney if we are a match when the time is right. So how does CKD affect our daily lives? It doesn't, because we don't let it. Yes, Lily now has to take 14 young 14 creamy to school. This is in addition to the snacks and a pre-measured 5 ml of citron. This has proved difficult in the past, that other children have often questioned Lily's special attention or treatment. But Lily is able to ignore any sly remarks, and as time has gone on, these are now almost non-existent. The night terrors, which were a frequent part of our lives, still occur, but not as much as they once were. Probably because Lily is now suffering from insomnia. Many times I have gone to bed after midnight and Lily's still lying awake. I don't mind though, because it's in those moments I get to sit and stroke her head and talk quietly about whatever might be bothering her. Lily also has asthma, and on one particular bad night, she had a really bad attack. I gave her both inhalers, and she settled back to sleep. I sat on the bed and cried. The negative feelings clouded my judgment. I said aloud, I cannot cope with this anymore. It was then my husband and I came up with the idea of setting up a support group for families with very young children who have also been affected by CKD. This is how kidney disease and renal support, or KDARs for kids, came about. We were never told about any of the support groups out there. We didn't know about the NKF or BKPA or any other support group existed. It was only on pure chance we discovered NKF. Through them, we found Humberside Kidney Patients Association. This was just 2 years ago. In April this year, KDARs for Kids was born. We now have 147 members, most of which are affected by CKD. Even Lily has put up comments on our support group, and she has made friends on there too. On her opening comments, her words were simply, I don't look sick, but I am sick. Wise words from one so young. The hardest thing I feel we have come to terms with is the fact there is no cure for CKD. Even a transplant isn't a cure, it's only a treatment. I myself have found this extremely difficult to comprehend. There is no magic wand. If each of us here had £1 for every time someone said, a transplant will make you better, NKF would be one of the richest charities in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, education is the way forward, and it needs to be at root level. We need to start in our schools, so that our future generations are more aware of kidney disease than the population is now.